5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a breath. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to the Magnificent Ones podcast, where the motto is, let's talk about everything. And I truly do love talking about everything. Tonight's topic is about betrayal and how it comes in many forms. But before we get into the topic, I would like to just take a moment to say thank you. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for listening. And if you're a first-time, a listener, welcome. This channel isn't what it is without you guys tuning in. And I'm very honored to have experienced the growth that I have. And I'm so grateful. And I look forward to see where this year takes. Being in the third quarter of the year, I feel so fulfilled. I truly do. And this program wouldn't be what it is without, all the feedback, whether it's criticism or just a congratulatory, conversation or comment. I just want to say thank you, sincerely. And as the channel grows, I look forward to seeing where this journey takes me and takes you all as well. It is a privilege to be able to have an idea in your head and to watch that idea come to life, to materialize. Who would have thought a year ago that, things would be going as it is right now? But the fact is, it is. And it's a testament to both hard work, to the people who contribute, whether it's Olacron Productions that makes the music in the background, or people who help with research and so many other things, or the inspiration from the conversations that I have in real life. This journey is not a journey without all of you. And it would not be good of me to not take this time to say thank you. Because without you all, there is no me in this space. And so I have to always have the attitude of gratitude and to always say thank you when the moment presents itself. So this is me taking my breath, taking a deep dive into saying thank you, and just thank you for your continued support. You don't have to spend your mornings listening or evenings or what have you listening to my podcast. There's thousands of other podcasts. And so the fact that you take the time wherever in whatever 20 countries or 300 and something cities that you all are hailing from, you take the moment to consciously or stumble upon my podcast and you continue to listen. And so for me, 20 countries is a very big deal. So thank you. And let's truly take a breath and dive in. Let's talk about this conventional topic of betrayal in an unconventional way. And I'll share my personal experience with the topic, as well as some things that I've studied and learned throughout the years. So let's dive in, guys. And as always, be magnificent. Betrayal is such a hard topic to cover because it's one of those things where I don't know if I wanted to take a more analytical approach or a more feelings-based approach to this episode. So maybe I'm trying to find the balance between the two. I'm conflicted in that way. And so I wanted to start off with forms of betrayal. And the first thing that came to mind was betrayal of confidence. There are people out there sometimes that will, you tell them things about yourself. Maybe you confide in them your insecurities, and then all of your weaknesses, only to have them use that against you in your moment of weakness. And maybe they use that as a means to manipulate you or what have you. But, I've seen it. I haven't had that experience personally, but I've seen it happen to other people growing up. And I never understood it on either ends, because a lot of times in those toxic relationships, both parties remain in that relationship, whether it's a friendship or a romantic, relationship. And so, like I said, I haven't directly dealt with that, but I wanted to go into it anyway because it's still important. And I've had a close encounter with that personally. And it was with podcasting. Ironically, there was a professor that I was working with, and I wanted to get a podcast up and going. And I had an idea that I wanted to do. And this professor decided to take my podcasting idea and run with it, and did not, tell me that they were doing this or that they were going to start another podcasting, program. And so they completely stole like my notes, everything. And, didn't say anything to me about it. And, they built up a catalog of all of our conversations and my ideas and how I wanted to execute the podcast. And long story short, when you're the original creator of an idea, whether it's art, literature, you can always create more ideas, regardless, which is good because you didn't steal those ideas. They're yours. And so for this individual to take my idea, they didn't necessarily, and my actual work itself, they didn't know what thoughts I had in my head, because we didn't talk about the thoughts of, hey, I could see this being a potential problem down the line, because it was usury. Someone saw an opportunity to take something and they did. And that happens in life. And I decided that I was never going to confront this person about it. And the reason being is because I was using this person as my research guinea pig to see the pitfalls in my ideas, the holes in my ideas. And I got to watch it play out in real time. It did sting knowing that this person did lie to me and did steal my work. But at the end of the day, I could always prove that the person stole my work. But I did not want to stake my reputation on an idea that was not fully fleshed out or fully know how things would play out. And so this person provided me with live data of what was wrong with my ideas as well as the execution. So I learned, how not to do certain things, how not to say certain things, how to phrase things so that I could engage in a way in which no matter what demographic you are, there's something here for you. So that's how I handled that. And you'll notice a constant theme in my life is that a lot of times, unless someone is being an immediate danger to myself or those around me, I don't act on emotion. So like I do, pretend like I don't know that someone screwed me over or that I don't know that what's going on. I like to pretend that I'm ignorant in that way, because the amount of energy that I have to pour into fighting someone or arguing with someone, to me, it's not worth it. It's a headache. I have better things to do with my time. So I never really engage things like that. It doesn't really lead anyone in a way that is beneficial to anyone in the end. So for me, confrontation probably will take on more of a physical form, in that I have to defend myself in a physical manner. And so long as I don't have to defend myself in a physical manner, because I'll handle that right then and there, then it's okay to just let the person steal, because at the end of the day, there's not much to say. The person is who they are, and that doesn't need an explanation. If someone made the decision to betray you, you don't truly need an explanation as to why. They just betrayed you, And to me, the why isn't really important. It's just the fact that they did what they did. With that being said, I would like to talk about just deception and misleading. There's people out there that they just want to see chaos, and they don't care who pays the price for that chaos. I remember years ago, I had a neighbor of mine, and we became really, really good friends. And this was also around the time that I started dating my wife. And, I didn't realize at the time that he hated my wife, or my girlfriend at the time. And he kind of felt that my wife was taking his place, because we had this routine where we hung out every single day. And that became, hey man, sorry, we can't hang out today. I'm going on a date, and so I guess, and my parents were going through a divorce at the time simultaneously. And I canceled on a date with my girlfriend, which is my wife at the time. And I canceled on his birthday party because, just a lot of things were going on at once. And so, he used that as an opportunity to try to create a wedge between, my girlfriend and I. And he said to me, he's like, hey man, your girlfriend came to my party, and he came with another guy and what have you. And because he's my really, really good friend, I could not even fathom that he would lie. And, and it was a lie. And so I literally did not speak to my girlfriend, I guess ex-girlfriend, for an entire year because of that entire, debacle. And, I never confronted him about it. And I told my wife, I said, there's no need for me to confront him about it, because every day that we're together, it's him wondering if we talked about it or hashed things out, or if we found out that it was him, and he gets to live into that prison. I never confronted him about it, and she never confronted him about it, because again, he knew what he did, and regardless of his reasoning, he still did something that was going to cause harm to both of us, and he did. So I don't need an explanation. I don't need an apology. It's just that once you cross a certain line, we just move on. And I mourn the loss of that friendship, but I don't dwell on it. And I just keep moving forward. And I think a lot of people can learn from that, is that when someone doesn't have your best interests at heart, you don't need to know why. Sometimes it's okay to just move on and move forward. And the closure you're never going to get the closure from the person's words. You get the closure from accepting the situation for what it is and moving on. The processing of that information, the processing of the loss of that friendship is your closure. That's the truth. Time does heal wounds, and each day it hurts a little less. But you can't do that if you're constantly, fighting with a person for an answer that they may not even give you the answer that you want. And that's the thing. The answer that you want isn't the answer that you're gonna get in most situations, because the answer that we want, that's our ego talking. It was an accident, it won't happen again. That's our ego that wants to hear that. And that's just what it is. So if you take your ego out of the situation as well, you learn that sometimes you just walk away because something just isn't for you. Not everything is for us. I recall a great quote. It said that not everyone you fight is your enemy, and not everyone that you love is your friend. And that quote, I think, I don't remember, I think it might have been Mike Tyson that said that. And it's something that rings in my head whenever I experience certain things. And I'm like, okay, it's one of those situations where this person that's my enemy, yes, we're competing against each other, but we're not enemies. It's just competition. And there's the, man, I love you, and that person's the one stabbing me in the back the entire time. And I have to move forward and just accept it. Like I said, I mourn the loss of that friendship, because that's all that we can do. We can't control the past. We can't control time. We can't even control our emotions. Our emotions, they fluctuate. But what we can control is how we handle the situation. And what can we logically handle or emotionally handle? What can we actually do? Walking away is something. You can walk away from a relationship that's toxic. You can walk away from a friendship that is manipulative in nature. You can walk away from toxic. It sucks, because sometimes it's all any of us know. I was thinking about a concept the other day that really had my mind blown, which was, sometimes you could come from the perfect home, a perfectly loving home, and that perfectly loving home may not prepare you for the world that's actually out there. The dog eat dog, the backstabbing, the slandering of people's character and name. Because in a loving home, maybe people, if you're religious, then you're taught turn the other cheek, or you don't know what gossip is. You've read about it in a book, you've seen it in TV shows, but your family isn't that. You go out into the world and you learn how nasty people can be, and it's like you're just not prepared for that. I was that kid. I was not prepared for the world. I had a stable family until my parents divorced and whatnot, and they divorced while I was in college, so I was an adult. So I had stability, I had love, I had attention, affection. I could communicate anything that I wanted with my parents. I could talk to my parents, and because I could do those things, it made me very trusting of the world. So if a perfect example would be, when I was younger, if someone was like, hey, I need money, I would assume that anytime someone asked me for money, it was always like a truthful situation. Like it was, they truly needed the money for XYZ or what have you. And when you come to that point where you realize that like not everyone's being honest with you, you're like, there's no way. This person said that their parents were in the hospital and so they needed to borrow some money. And then you find out that it's a lie, and the person really just wanted to buy tickets for a concert or something. And you would have given the money to them anyway, but you have to learn that lesson. And so the life taught me a lot of lessons about betrayal, because I didn't have to deal with those situations. I didn't have to deal with that kind of negativity, but I had to gain the experience in the real world of having gone through it. And it sucked. But at the same time, I'm happy because now I get to talk about it in a podcast years later or what have you. One of the things that I'm personally working on now is learning that even though these situations take place, I don't have to allow it, because even if I don't necessarily say something to the individual that does something against me, I don't want it to occupy my mental real estate. I don't want it to impede my thoughts and my positivity and how I flow in my life and navigate my daily situations. That's what I'm working on right now. Whether it's professionally, of course, there's people who try to, create roadblocks for you, and that's just the reality of things. I've had to learn this. Of course, there's people that's going to take credit for your work. These things happen, and I've learned that what is mine, and those are things that no one can take away from me. And that's something that a little motto that I've been working on. I think it would go really well on a shirt. What is mine is mine. You can steal my idea, but at the end of the day, it's my idea. It is my brainchild. And as such, you can only talk about it in so many ways until it's revealed that that's not yours. It just is what it is. And so if I were to take the time and energy to fight every battle of betrayal, I wouldn't have energy left, to be standing tall. I'd be depleted. Let's just face it. Staying up late, night after night with small children that don't like to sleep sometimes, I don't have the energy for that. And I'm not going to invest energy into negativity. The world already has enough chaos and negativity. I don't want to contribute to it. It's just not my thing. But through it all, I feel the worst form of betrayal that exists is the betrayal of yourself. Is when you know who you are and eventually you let the noise get to you. You let the sound start becoming your reality. When you lie to yourself and say, you know what, I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not handsome enough. When you tell yourself those things, you're betraying yourself. I've seen this just one too many times in the past couple of months. I see individuals that are extremely intelligent and I hear them calling themselves stupid. I see pretty people that are saying that, they wish they could change this about themselves and that about themselves. And not realizing that they're perfect just the way they are. And when you keep lying to yourself, that is truly betraying yourself. You stop seeing reality. You stop seeing you, and you stop seeing like what you really have in front of you. And there's another quote that I heard a long time ago, and this was the perspective I got from it. And the quote was, you're while you're chasing getting a bigger home, there's a person that just wants a home. While you're throwing your food away, there's a person that just wishes they could eat. Keeping up with the Joneses is you lying to yourself. It is you betraying yourself. That you forget to just appreciate the small things in life. A house is not a home, right? That's something that's so profound. Just because you have a house, it doesn't mean you have people occupying that space that makes you feel welcome. It doesn't mean you get to lay your burdens at the door and have peace. But yet maybe you go into some rundown shack and you get peace there because the company that you have. Some things truly are priceless. Kindness is priceless. Loving yourself is priceless. And so remember that you're amazing. Remember that you have something to offer. Don't feed into the noise. Don't let the sounds of negativity drown out how truly special you are. Ultimately, the person that inspired this episode is a dear friend of mine, whom I love wholeheartedly. And she's taught me so much about strength and resilience and bouncing back after being betrayed. Strength like that is something that I strive for. And I hope that she knows that she's made me a better person. I hope that she knows that she truly is just more than amazing. And she's my hero. Because betrayal sucks. And she's the epitome of the saying that goes, the world is held together by the love of a few good people. And I'm happy to say that the love that she gives is part of the reason why the world goes around and around and around. I'm truly blessed every time I think about the people that I have in my life, and that I have the things that money can't buy, and that makes me wealthy. The love that I have makes me wealthy. The joy that I feel in my heart and soul makes me wealthy. The amazing relationships I have with the people that I have makes me wealthy. Because those things are priceless. And you all are priceless as well. And I hope that you find that thing that makes you never betray yourself. May you see who you really are and your gifts in every way. So thank you. Thank you all for being magnificent. And stay true to who you are. Even in the moments where you can't possibly see the light, or you can't see the calm after the storm. Sometimes there's a calm before the storm, but there's also a calm after as well. Just know that no matter what season in life you're in, it's a season, so it changes. And there's a season for you, even if you can't see it yet. If you enjoyed today's content, please like and subscribe for more.